everyone, it's Miss Melody from the Ludington Library Junior Room. Welcome back to Try It Out with Miss Melody. This week we're going to be continuing our theme of tails and tales by doing a little baking project for a furry friend you might have in your life. We are going to be making 4-ingredient do-it-yourself dog treats. This project does involve an oven, so you are going to need an adult to help you out, but it's a project the whole family can get involved with. It's great for kids to start learning how to measure, and since we're going to be rolling out dough this week, that's a great sensory activity. You're going to need 4 food ingredients for this project. We'll be using 3 cups of flour, either whole wheat or all-purpose, 2 eggs, 1 banana, and 1 cup of pure pumpkin puree, which is different than pumpkin pie filling. You don't want to use that because that's not going to be good for your dog. We're also going to need some cooking supplies, some tools we'll be using to make these dog treats. A cookie sheet for baking, a rolling pin, a spatula or spoon, a bowl, and some measuring cups. You're also going to need some sort of cookie cutter, probably on the smaller side, so that you can make dog treats that are the size that your dog will be able to fit into their mouth or crunch up. I was just going to use kind of a round whatever I had, but I found this adorable little tiny bone-shaped cookie cutter, so that is what I'm going to be using today. Before you start mixing up your ingredients, you're going to want to preheat your oven. You're going to turn it up to 350 degrees and let it heat up. Then you're going to start putting your items, all of your food ingredients, into a bowl. First, you're going to take your banana. Yours does not need to be quite as ripe as mine is, but it can be. You're going to squish it down into the bowl. Then we're going to add our 2 eggs. And 1 cup of pumpkin puree. You might need a spoon or a spatula to scrape your pumpkin puree into your bowl. Once you have all of your wet ingredients, which is what we're going to call these ones, they're kind of have a wet texture, a moist texture. You're going to mix those together. You might have to mush up your banana a little bit, especially if it's not quite as ripe as mine was, to get it combined, because you don't really want chunks of banana. You want it nicely combined and smooth all the way through before you put in your flour. Once you've mashed up all your banana lumps, you're ready to add your flour. You're going to be adding 3 cups of flour. I already have mine measured out, so I'm going to dump it into the bowl and mix it together. And once again, you're going to want to make sure that you don't have any lumps, so no clumps of flour sticking together. You want it nice and smooth once it's all mixed together. When your flour is all combined, you should be left with a ball of sticky dough. It's not going to be very dry. It's still going to be pretty wet and sticky. And now you're ready to roll out your dough. So you're going to want to take some extra flour and dust the table or the surface you're using in front of you so it won't stick to your table. Just put a little down, spread it out with your hands. Put your dough right on top. And you're probably going to want some flour on your hands as well, so it won't stick to your hands, and also on your rolling pin, so it won't stick to that either, because this is still pretty wet. We're going to roll out our dough to about 1/8 of an inch, which is pretty thin. If your treats are thicker, it's going to take longer for them to bake. These should only take about 20 minutes once we put them in the oven. You're going to roll it out, and then you're going to start cutting out your treats and putting them on a baking tray. I line my baking tray with parchment paper. You can do that as well, or you can spray the pan so that your treats don't stick. Once you've cut out your treats, you're ready to put them in the oven for 20 minutes. Now, as I was rolling out my dough, I did notice, because it's such a sticky dough, I had to add quite a lot of flour to it. So make sure you have a lot of extra flour for dusting on your hands and for dusting on the table, because if there isn't flour underneath your dough, it's going to stick to the table and you're going to have a really hard time getting it off and onto your tray. So I'm going to stick these into the oven, and after 20 minutes, we have our baked treats. They should be nice and crunchy on the outside and a little bit soft on the inside. You actually could eat these treats yourself if you wanted to. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend that, but we did use all ingredients that are safe for humans to eat. So I hope you enjoyed this project. You can post a picture of any of the treats you made down in the comments. We would love to see what you made together as a family. And before you go, I have just a few book recommendations that all have to do with dogs. The first two are picture books. You can find all these books in the children's room at Ludington. These are going to be in the picture book section. The first one is called Dog Wants to Play. It's by Christine McDonnell. This is great for younger readers because it has a lot of repetition in it about a dog who is looking for a playmate and having a really hard time finding one. The next book I would like to recommend is also a picture book. It's a little bit longer, so for readers who can listen for a little bit longer, have a little longer attention span. This is called Dog Loves Books. It's by Louise Yates. And it's about a little dog who decides to open a bookstore, but he's having a hard time getting customers. So you have to see what he does. And last but not least, I pulled a book from the Easy Reader section. So for kids probably 5 or 6 who are just starting to read and starting to get their own books. This is the Marley series. This one is by, just double check, Hill is the last name, Susan Hill. And this is a whole series about a dog named Marley who likes to get into interesting situations and seems to always be getting into trouble. So if you like dogs, this is a great series to start with if you're a new reader. Once again, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project and I will see you soon. Bye.